Alright guys, so we're on a Nissan Qashqai 16 plate. Just need to change the rear brake pads. Changed the other side already. See how bad that is. It's on the bare metal. That was the other side. This is a new one. This is what a new one looks like. You see the difference. That one's got a lot of meat on it. That one is told on the metal. Normally they have a indicator and you can hear the squeaking brakes or squealing. It's this indicator here. So when the pads go down to this, you can hear it squealing. But this one didn't have an indicator on it, so you couldn't really tell until it started grinding. First thing is you want to get all the nuts and bolts off. Let's get these caps off. So just 4 caps and you've got the locking nut there. And it's a 17mm. Loosen them while the car's on the ground. Just lightly loosen them. And then you want to jack the car up. Got a jack stand, axle stand, just in case the car drops. So I'm just going to use the rear axle. There's quite a high car, high up. My jack's not that high, so the lowest point is the rear axle. Make sure that's tight. Jack stand, we'll load and seat it back up, and let's get the wheel. Once you get the wheel off, just put it under the car for extra safety. If you want, so get some WD-40, chuck it on those bolts, because they're outside, obviously they get rusted up. So let that sit on there. So these are electronic parking brakes on the back. So you have to release those. before you push them back. So connect the OB2 scanner, went into the special functions, car in on position, release the parking brake, and then when you go into special functions for brakes, you need to click on EPB, electronic parking brake, and then you have to go on initialize parking brake change, and that will release the calipers, so then you can push them back. So I've already done that because I did the other side. So the next step is to get the caliper off. So this is a what's this? 13mm. Two 13mm sockets on this one. So sometimes the bottom second nut can turn as well, so you gotta get spun on that piece of shit. So two 13mm off. Just give it a bit of a knock to release that. So that'll come off. It's got a hose on the back, brake line hose. Don't want to put pressure on it, so just rest it on something solid. Just get a little pry bar, screwdriver, just to pull them out, so you can see they're pretty finished. Look at that, that is totally finished compared to the new one. Look at that, totally finished. See the old ones? There was a lot of rust on there. Doesn't look like they were greased the last time they were put on, so just want to get rid of this rust. So the pads don't stick to the disc. Just get like a wire brush or something, a metal wire brush. Be careful not to hit this with it. So you can see there, look at that, that's coming off. So these are the 4 points that that pad goes into. Get the rust off. And then where it touches the pad on the back, just want to get the rust off that as well. But I'll do that in a bit. Let's get the pads in first.
This way, please.
So the pad with the wear indicator goes on the back. Got some brake pad anti-school grease. So use some of that.
Excuse me. Can you come this way, please?
So apply it evenly on there and on the end points. You don't need too much, but just enough. Give it a light touch all over. So to get the pads in, there's a, see this little pinch point here, you got to push it in at that angle and at that angle, and you just got to squeeze it in like that, and it just squeezes in, if you can see that. So you just got to put it in at an angle like that and then squeeze it in. But with grease on it's a bit difficult, but let's do it front one. The parking brake going up on the taxi that's just turned up. There's two little dots there. So you want to make sure that's on the outside. The one with the one dot in the middle, that goes on the inside because the rotor will go around it. You don't want to put the two dot on the inside because the rotor will scrape on it. Let's get a bit of brake pad grease on that. Put it the right way. So it's easier to do the outside because you can see what you're doing. On the inside, you can't even see what you're doing, a bit of a headache. Yeah, so be careful with this one. So this is a brake caliper piston that goes in and out when you apply the handbrake. See the boot's ripped here, but there's not much I can do about that. So I'm just going to push this back because I already released the parking brake with the computer, so that's released the tension. Now I can just push this back with the wind back tool. So I'll see if I can show you how to do that here. Shouldn't really be put WD-40 on the rubber. The rubber because it will eat it away, but it looks like someone's already ate it, so it doesn't really matter. Just helps, makes it easier to wind it back. So get rid of the bit of rust that was there. And then yeah, let's get that. So I can show you, it's just a little wind back tool, just pushes it in You could do it on hand, but so all it does is you just wind it in, and it puts pressure on the piston, and it should push it back in before it goes on. So you can see that's going back in there. And you just do it until it kind of stops itself. Can't go back any further than that. When you're doing this, you want to make sure the cap for the brake fluid reservoir is off, because this will push fluid back in and it's got nowhere else to go. It can just leak out of here if that's not open. So I'll show you. Make sure boot open. Boot, bonnet, even. Yeah. This is a brake fluid reservoir. I just want to make sure that's open. Obviously I didn't do that because I was an idiot, but yeah, the brake fluid level before it was down here, but now that I've pushed it all back, it's gone to the top. So if it went even further, it would have leaked from somewhere, but luckily it wasn't too high. See like that. Right, so that's all ready to go back in. We've got these pins as well. These ones, you want to make sure they're nicely greased, because they go in and out. Make sure they're quite smooth. So let's get a bit of grease on that one. Lovely jubbly. And we'll do this. Same for the other one. Get a bit of grease on it. Don't need too much. A bit of fun on that if you're overly excited. And then get a bit of grease on the caliper where it's going to touch the brake pads. And then yeah, get back on. This way. That's back on. With the two bolts, just make sure they've got a bit of grease on them as well so they don't seize. You can see the tops get rusted obviously because it's comes in contact with water. Yeah, son. That's in. Just turn the ratchet to tightening it. Get the spanner on. Son, what's wrong with you today? these need to be torqued down to 35 newton meters of torque, which is about there, I think. I don't have a torque wrench, so just making sure it's nice and snug. You don't over tighten them because they'll just snap off. Brilliant, so that's done. So now we'll get the wheel back on. So you see it's nice and greased up here, so it doesn't rust on there, to prevent it sticking. You can see the caliper, there's still a gap there. The caliper's not pushed against the pads because the handbrake's been released. Nicely greased up there. All the metal touching points are greased up, so that's pretty much it. So we'll get the wheel back on and then release the parking brake. That's that. This part you can put a bit of grease on it to prevent the wheel from seizing on there. Just makes it easier for the next person to take it off. The discs are pretty decent. They've got no lip on them, so I'm not changing the discs. They're a little bit scorned because the car hasn't been used for a bit. It's been parked up for a few months. But once you start driving it, that will clear itself off. When you put the lugs back on, just make sure you do it in a star shape. So do it like that. Just even pressure on the wheel. Make sure it helps put the wheel back on properly. So again, it's just the same, 5 lugs, 70 mils, one has a locking wheel nut. If you lose your locking wheel nut, you can normally get a replacement from a dealer, or if you're stranded, you can get it broken out. There you go. So you'll tighten those up and then get the car off the back. Keep it just tight enough so we can put some pressure. Get it off the jack and put some pressure on it. release the clutch. Tighten that back up for next time. Don't forget to take the locking wheel nut. Don't want to lose that. And then, yeah, when you're doing the rear ones, always make sure you got something on the front tyre. Stop it rolling. I'd just put it into first gear. I was a bit lazy, but that will stop it rolling forwards. So please exit current function. Alright. So now all we need to do is just re-engage the rear brake caliper. So before I did a start brake line replacement that released it, now I'm going to complete it, so that will push it back out again. So complete. After replacing rear brake, touch start. So that's replaced, touch start, start. There you go, so you hear the calipers winding back out again. And what we'll do, we'll engage the parking brake, get out of gear, and that's engaged. Turn the car off. Home. Okay. And then that's all done. Just remember to check your brake fluid levels. That's at the top, so that's fine. There is a minimum maximum on there, just keep it at that level. And then, yeah, that's all done. So that's a rear brake pad replacement on a Nissan Qashqai 16 model with an electronic parking brake. So yeah, we'll just clear up and then head inside for a nice cup of tea. Cheerio.